It's blistering hot outside, and I am absolutely like. Okay. They thought that if they helped like all the people who stole from me, so David and Nick, including the homeless shelter people, that like if they worked with him and everything went as to plan, they could keep all my stuff. Yeah, including the foster family. They thought that like, oh, they stole from her. Oh, we can keep it, or like we can, if we all know each other and we're all friends, and we can use all her stuff without her knowing, basically stealing from me. If we can send her to prison somehow. I'm like, that's, you know what that's called? That's called treason. So that's what they were doing. They were committing treason. And they thought it was something else, which is why now this is the reason why I think they have schizophrenia now. Or like they're going through severe psychosis, they're very delusional. They don't understand that it's all my stuff and they don't have any rights over it, and the reason why the police believe this is because they think that I don't have rights over things because I'm not white. So I'm not white, so I don't get to own anything. That's why they were being rude to me and saying like, oh, we only treat your people like this. Like other white people, they're fine. We don't do this to them. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Literally, like I've never met such stupid people before in my life. I'm like, yeah, that's really weird. Like you're telling me that you're doing weird stuff to people you don't even know, and there's no reason for it. But you're telling people it's because of their race. That's abusive. That's literally abuse. And I'm like, that's fucked up. But yeah, that's what they were doing. And I was like, what is that? Yeah, they thought that they could just like steal from me and keep all my stuff if they can send me to prison. And I'm like, yeah, you're describing treason right now. Like you're literally describing what treason is. Instead of just, shit, you stole that from her? Fuck, can you give it back already? What the fuck is the matter with you? Like, can you not do that? I'm like, you guys must be insane to think that like that kind of stuff is okay. Like, it's not okay for you to do that. Like, it's illegal for you to do that. And they're like, oh, like, they showed, like, oh, this guy just shot some girl because she was on his property and was planning to steal from him. And now she's dead. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so sad for you because you think I care. That's not what I said, but that's what I was doing. But yeah. But yeah, they're so stupid. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna like just, you know, I'm like, literally everyone who ends up in prison says the same exact thing as you do. We needed it, or like, I didn't know it was illegal, or like, yeah, I thought it was fine because I thought she was a bad person. Turns out I was wrong, and now I have to stay here. And I'm like, you really don't understand what you did, do you? Like, you legitimately don't understand how it's affecting other people and what you did. And how you ruined your life, because this is how delusional they are. The cops think that they're just gonna get fired and they're gonna have to find a new job after. Like, they think that's the worst that's gonna happen. And if it gets any worse, they just have to spend some time in prison and they'll get out and they'll be fine. Like, they'll just find a job after that. And some people are like, yeah, like if you go to prison, like, it's fine. Like afterwards, it's like everything's gonna be fine. And I'm just like, what is that? Like, there was a guy who even tried to convict me for insurance fraud, but I'm like, I can't even apply for insurance because I'm not even purchasing this car, and he stole from me. So David stole money from me and forced me to purchase it for him, right? And I'm like, I'm not letting him drive this, even though it's my legal property. Like, okay, I purchased this, that's fine, but I'm not letting him drive this. I'm saying, no, you can't drive this. There's no insurance on this car, and I'm not driving you anywhere. This is why I'm not getting insurance for the car, because I'm not letting you drive anywhere because you don't have a driver's license. And the cops, because they're white, they were siding with Davis. Like, how would you like it if we did that to you? We just gave you no license for no reason. And I'm like, what are you talking about? David never went to driving school and he never got his driver's license stolen. He never had a driver's license to begin with, even when he was in Hungary. So I don't understand what your problem is. And I just understood what zipperhead meant. Oh my god, that's really nasty. That's really nasty. What they're doing is really nasty and it looks nasty. But yeah, so I'm telling him, you're forcing me to purchase this car. You know what? I'm not gonna go talk to the guy who sold me this car because he's forced to sell this to me, basically sell it to you, but I'm saying no to you because you can't drive this car because you're not only a drug addict, you're not even a legal citizen, you don't have a driver's license. So, and that's why they took away my driver's license, because the police, okay, this isn't every government worker, it's the police. They've been making up false reports and filing false cases, which isn't going through with the judges because they're like, there's no evidence for it, and I can read what you're saying. You act like I can't see you and understand what you're doing and see how the department's doing. They were trying to hide it for the longest time to other citizens and people who weren't involved, and to the higher ups, I guess. Honestly, they were like, yeah, they thought that like I was being a bitch because I was getting my stuff stolen from a guy who thought he was better than me because he was white. Again, he was missing teeth and he was a drug addict at the time. So I was like, you're missing teeth and you're a drug addict and I'm worse than you? Right. Like, it's just, he didn't understand this, and that's why they were illegally forcing me to be in a car crash and taking my driver's license, and they thought that that would be enough to convince me that I deserve to have my things taken away, and they didn't actually do anything illegal and I shouldn't report any of it. And I'm like, I already did. The fact that they're not doing anything about it means that they don't have like enough money to cover for you. That's what that means. They're using your pension, right? They're screwing you out of your pension, and they're using it to pay off all the debts that you've incurred, aka paying the judges and making sure that judges who actually are working are getting their pensions at the end of the day. So they're putting that away for other people, and they're gonna make sure that you don't get anything, and they're gonna leave you out on the streets to die. That's what that means. I mean, do you think that like this is like a monarchy or something? Like, this is people, the premier or the prime minister, they change all the time. Literally, like, this guy got 4 years, and after that another guy's gonna get elected. Like, who cares? But like, they think that it's gonna be like that forever, and I was like, you must be insane. And like, the word zipperhead means that like they always target a person because they're Korean, and the only way to shut them up is to literally crack their head open with a bat. Like, you punch them in the head, you punch them in the back of your head, back of their head, right? And that's the only way to shut them up. That's what zipperhead means. So in Korea, when people are attacking their country, the only way they could stop that person from stealing from them and attacking them was to literally kill them. I mean, not kill them, but like literally punch them in the head. If they punched them somewhere else, they would continue to do that. So they punched them to the point where they couldn't even think properly anymore. That's a zipperhead. That's what they're saying. They're saying that person's a zipperhead. That means the person who's attacking you is a zipperhead. You're not gonna have a head or a brain anymore because you keep attacking that person for no reason. That's what zipperhead means. I'm like, what? Yeah, they're like, you're doing this to shut you up, so you stop talking to them. That's why it's derogatory. They're like, to them, they're like saying you're being overly violent because they're not actually hurting you. They just want to talk to you, but you don't want to talk to them, and you're doing this because you want them to shut up and stop talking to you and never be friends with you. But they're discounting the fact that, okay, you already like stole from me and raped me, and I'm not gonna. This is also what they thought. The people who stole from me and were doing all that bad stuff, and the cops who were actually threatening me and my health and safety, thought that I was gonna go and break into their house or find out where they live, or repeatedly show up at the police department, and then they thought that afterwards I'm just gonna kill them myself for threatening me because it won't stop. So like, oh, I thought you were gonna go and threaten and kill Mark Saunders, who's the chief of police, because he's the one telling us what to do, what to say, and he's our boss, and he's the one responsible for what we're doing. And the people who weren't working for the police, the civilians who were involved, the white supremacists, they thought that I would actually go there and punch him and kill him, or forcibly get my stuff back by myself. And I'm like, you know what? I literally am a legal citizen here, which means I have legal protection. As in, the cops are legally supposed to, like, if they don't do this, it's illegal. They're gonna end up in prison, right? They are supposed to do the work for me. That's what they're being paid for. That's why people pay them money. Well, that's why they have a job, so they can do that instead of me doing that myself, because it's illegal if I do that. So they thought that, like, we could have a whole legal battle together, like Pokemon or something, and then I'm gonna get all my stuff back, and I would have to, I'd be forced to talk to them and see them. And I'm like, why would I need to talk to you or see you? Like, I don't understand why. Literally, I'm like, why do I need to do that? Like, it makes no sense to me. I'm like, okay, so I have to be your friend because you don't want to, like, do things or something? Like, what is the point of you being my friend if you're only there because you want to use my things? That's not a friend. That's just a thief. Yeah, that's what thieves do. They do that all the time. I'm like, you're planning on stealing from me, aren't you? Literally, like, you're planning on abusing me, or like saying that I'm not a good friend or whatever because I won't let you use my stuff. Even if you gave it to me, I'm like, the minute it becomes mine, after you're saying, hey, I bought this for you and I have it in my possession, that means it's mine now. You don't get to keep it. Yeah, you don't get to come over my house whenever you want and use my things. Like, that's crazy person, right? That means you're not really my friend. You're just using me as an excuse to buy things for yourself. Why don't you just buy it for yourself and keep it there? Like, why don't you just, like, if you have a house and a room, or even if you don't, like, why don't you buy things for yourself and use it for yourself instead of having other people use it for you? Like, if you don't want to share, then don't. Literally, no one's forcing you. I don't understand why people are trying to, like, convince people to be friends with them when they're just doing that kind of fucking bullshit. Like, if you want to share, no one's gonna force you. Just don't. Just buy things for yourself and use it for yourself. If you don't like to share, your friends should understand that and be like, it's fine. But at the same time, like, they're never gonna call you out, or they're never gonna hang out with you. They're not gonna want to be near you because you don't share. Like, they're gonna call you out for, like, group outings, like, oh, we're all going camping and we all have to bring our own stuff. Or when they're meeting completely new people, they're like, oh, hey, my friend is having a party, you want to come along, it's BYOB or whatever. That's when they're gonna invite you. That's the only way they're ever gonna invite you anywhere. Because you never want to share. Every time you try to share, you just try to convince them it's your stuff. And you just, like, get abusive and yell at them for no fucking reason. Like, why would anybody want to be friends with people like that? Like, it's insane. And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, why aren't you leaving me alone? Like, I don't fucking know you. Right? Like, I have, like, no reason to be friends with you. And all of a sudden, you're telling me that I need to be friends with you because that's what you want. And I exist only to make sure that everything you want is done by me. Because that's what friends do, right? Like, what are they saying? I thought they were crazy. Literally, they're crazy people, and that's why they were, like, saying all these racist stuff, saying, like, I'm just a zipperhead, and I'm like, that's you. That's what that means. Except the guys who went to war vets with PTSD, they say that because they're being very discriminatory. They're saying, like, you know what, you could have just talked that out. Like, why did you have to do that? Like, that's a zipperhead. That's also a zipperhead, by the way, but he just didn't get that done to him because he wasn't that stupid. Like, I don't understand how that is, like, hard to understand. So, yeah. Oh, oops. Yeah, I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is this? Close. I have to. else do I need? Oh. Yeah, so that's what that was. Like, what is that? I'm like, what? Do you still think this is like 1925 and people are still at war? That's what the bunch of white DJs, like trailer trash, were trying to convince me of. They're like, yeah, it's like, I know you still think that way. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're the only racist people here. You just want to do that because you think it's your right to steal everything. Like, it's just weird. Why don't you do that to Chinese people? Why don't you do that to, oh, because they're just as poor as you, right? So you feel bad for them and you want them to be friends with you and you want their money and you only leave them alone because they're just like you. This is weird, man. What the fuck is that shit?